And there we go. All right. For those of you that do join in or are watching this later, this is Ben Herrera. Say hi, Ben.
Hey, how's it going?
Which I'm really glad that we got a chance to catch up with you because we met you, was that 2014? I think.
Yeah, 2014.
So I'll put the question up here so it's official. Um,
Gotta
but
be
yeah, we met.
official.
That's right,
The
2014, and
Watchtower Geeks are gonna come and get
they're violent people.
it.
No, I'm
I
just
know,
kidding.
man. But they got good taste in comic books.
Yeah, that's what it is. Um, but yeah, it was actually that was my first Comic Con, right, Adam? That was the our first venture to
Yeah,
San Diego.
yeah, it was an adventure, man. It was San Diego. I mean, I think it's kind of it about hit its peak. I think around that time, we'll say,
Uh,
and it was wild. It was awesome, man. We had such a great time over those 4 days. I was at the time infected with poison oak. I think.
Wait, you were?
Oh my
okay,
gosh,
I
man!
didn't want to bring
I
this
am
up.
I am hypersensitive to poison oak apparently, and I had to go to the
Hyper.
hospital like I don't know what 2 or 3 times, and
No, man, I want to smack you on the back to say hello, man.
I was in a lot of pain.
Jason?
I almost didn't make it to the con. That's how much pain I was in. Yeah, I almost. Jason convinced me otherwise. I about blew it off. I was just in a lot of pain. But
He called
I
me.
thought Adam wasn't allowed to tell stories anymore.
He called me and was like, "Hey, Jason, I think that I'm not gonna be able to do. I'm not gonna be able to do the con." I'm like, "Wait, what? Like, what are you talking about?" Um, so yeah, that was not good.
yeah.
But thankfully he made it. And do we have pictures somewhere, Adam?
Yeah, we gotta
We
post
do.
them.
We do
Oh
have
man.
pictures.
Our
Yeah. We were
interview.
staying at Nina and Raul's place there in Mission Valley.
Yeah, yeah. And
Yeah.
he sent me pictures on his cell phone of his face beforehand. He's like, "Dude, I can't go." And I'm like, "No, wait. This is my first pilgrimage to the con, and you are not bailing on me." So, but he made it, and actually, Ben, you were the first artist that I talked to there, and
Wait, really?
you were super nice, and you actually were the one that hooked us up with meeting Mike Miller, and then just down the row from you, like one over, was Alan Bellman, which was also another awesome person to meet there. We met a lot of. It was awesome. I agree. That was like the
We
peak
saw
of.
Buzz Aldrin at the NASA panel.
Yeah, yeah.
Uh, yeah, it was just it was a cool con. That was probably looking back. That was probably my favorite San Diego.
Because we met you, actually, Ben. That is why it's the
Oh,
favorite one.
wow, you humble me. If I could turn red, if I was any lighter, I'd be all red right now. You guys made it good, man, because you're cool. So it was great to meet you.
Well, thank you. You too. How many times have you been to San Diego Con
Oh man,
as an artist?
I've been going since like I was 18 or 16. No, 18, yeah. But I missed a
Nice.
few. But I don't know, probably over 20 times. 20, 25 times. Yeah,
That's
maybe
cool.
almost 30 times. It was a lot, man.
Were they always at the convention center, or were they at other
Well,
locations?
they were at the convention center, but when I started going, it was the old convention center. So that was like in the center of the city. So it's a lot smaller. It was basically just like two big rooms and then a big hallway in the center, and then that was the convention. And then when you walked in, like on the left hand side, was all the like uh, Marvel and DC and stuff like that. And then they sold sold the comic books there. And then the center they kind of had retailers, but on the right hand side was Artist Alley. So you'd go right, and then that was it. That was all the whole convention. So it was I went there for a few years, and then I was like super excited when I went to the brand new convention, because the brand new convention wasn't even built when I started going.
Oh wow.
Yeah. So I'm dating myself. So I'm only like 21. See, that's it.
That's cool. I remember too. That was I had never been. Actually, come to think of it, I don't think I had been to a Comic-Con. Period. That was like the first Comic-Con I'd been to, and Adam was like, "Are you going to buy art?" I'm like, "Well, yeah." And then he was talking about commissions, and I'm like, "I don't even know how to do a commission. Like, what are you talking about?" And that was what I remember asking you, which you did an Elsa sketch for my daughter, and I'm like, I know this is not in your repertoire of published content, but would you be willing to try an Elsa sketch from Frozen? And you did. In fact, she still has it hanging above her bed now. And
Oh, that's
it's
cool.
like two more, and it's the headshot of Elsa. Of course, it was perfect. So
Well, I'm glad she liked it. I mean, that's, yeah, it was out of my regular stuff, but anything I've draw is fun. And plus, it was for you and your daughter, and you had money. So all those things put together,
exactly.
it was a pleasure. So I'm happy you asked me.
I did have you do a Batman too.
Here we go. The sun's coming through here, so I'm gonna put
Oh
this.
no!
There we go. Yeah, there we go. It's coming through on the side. I don't want to make sure. Oh, okay, there we go.
You got it.
Oh, I can put it on the side because then it shows. I can like, shamefully,
Plug.
promote myself.
Yeah.
Oh, read
That's perfect.
Okay.
You did do a Batman for my son too, which he also has hanging next
cool.
to the signed one from Alan Bellman with Captain America. So you got both of them sitting up there above his
Wow.
head.
Put me in an honored spot. That's awesome.
That's right.
Well, thank you.
So it was perfect timing that you brought up that cover you have back there of Wolverine. I do have. Let's see if I can share my screen here and put this up on the side. I do have some of the images that you've done. Hopefully this works right. Oh, see, I had it all set up, but it doesn't want to work right. Okay.
You might need to restart your computer, IT guy.
Well, this is the first time we're doing this new software for streaming. So I tested it out with Adam earlier, and we'll try it one more time. Let's see.
Want to take bets what corner you end up in this time, Adam?
There we go.
All right, there we go.
It was the remnants of Adam's poison oak that was causing the trouble.
So I wanted to ask you, Wolverine is one of my favorite characters, and I wish that Matt would have been able to get on with us today because it's also his favorite character. But both him and I have talked about the style and stuff you use for here. First off, can you tell us a little bit about what this specific image is from?
Oh, it's for a backup story in a Wolverine 95 annual. No, I think it was at the time it was just called Wolverine 95. So they treated it just like an annual. Back in the day, they had like X-Men 96 and Wolverine 95, and so they had me do I forget how long the story was. It might have been like 15 pages or something, but yeah, with Deadpool. So that was the first time I got to draw Deadpool, and then I got to draw Maverick, the like real, and then the real Wolverine, because I did Wolverine in like Marvel Adventures or X-Men Adventures, and that was the different Kitty universe, which was cool, but it wasn't the real Wolverine. So this was
Right.
in the real world.
So what gave you the style that you use to draw him? Because there's a lot of real sharp, stretched out angles, which looks awesome, and I love it. So was there any specific reason you went that way, or just because you had inspired? Or?
Oh yeah, totally inspired, because at the time, like, coming in, I just love artwork and different artists and everything, and so I'll get, inspired at different times by different people. And at the time, right around this time, like when I left Malibu and then started doing stuff for Marvel and stuff, I was like influenced by a lot of the Gaijin studio guys, which at the time was like Jason Pearson and like Brian Stelfreeze and Cully Hamner, and then at the time Adam Hughes was a member of the studio there. But anyways, there was one artist, and I really named Jason Pearson, who started doing a little bit angular stuff at the time, and that really like hit me hard because it wasn't just soft anymore. Like I love stuff like Adam Hughes and stuff, but it just I don't know, struck me a little bit more. It was more hard edged, and to me at the time, it fit like how I was thinking about superheroes. So I just started adding a little more angular stuff to my artwork, and then it also helped with the speed too, because when you're drawing the pages, doing angles for me anyway is a little bit faster to draw with than doing like more rounded, controlled edges.
Okay, I didn't know that. That's cool.
So yeah,
who's he fighting there?
Well, that's I think this character called Slayback, and so yeah, sorry, this is like many moons ago, but I think this character called Slayback, and he's some villain that also hated Deadpool, and so he was I guess he's a Deadpool villain, enemy. And so he was the story. So that's who he's fighting. Like him in the story, Wolverine and Maverick went to go save Deadpool, and then he from being experimented on, and so Slayback was like the villain, guarding Deadpool and trying to cause tons of trouble. Of course, anybody with long arms and long, sharpie fingers can cause a lot of trouble. So yeah, that was the story.
That's cool. I have some other ones you sent me. Do you mind if I scroll through a couple of them here?
Oh, sure. Go ahead.
See if I can get it to do that, since my technology skills are obviously.
They're doing it, man. Now you can see that dude's all of his arm and his pointy finger.
There's one. There we go.
That was really fun to watch.
That's awesome. So
that was like in a Cable X-Force like 95 or something like that, or I don't know, around there. It was kind of a similar thing to like the X-Men one or the Wolverine one. So they just had me do like a pin-up in the back of it.
No, that's great.
So yeah, that was really fun to work. Because that was again my first time drawing X-Force.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Cool.
As an artist, do you get to keep the original layouts?
Oh yeah, you can keep like generally. Well, then if you did like a cover or a pinup, you got to keep the artwork for that, no matter who inked it. But if you did like interior pages, and you had an inker, then you would keep like two thirds of the book, and they would keep 1/3. And so that's how it usually went. But yeah, so that one I got to keep because I'm like, I like this.
So what's this one that we're looking at here?
Well, that's a cover to one of the miniseries I finished up last year called Obey Me, and it was like I think for issue 4. No, issue 4, and this is obviously before they put the logo on it, but it's actually a video game, and they made a prequel comic book miniseries for the video game. The video game just came out like this week.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, so that was for. And then there's the logo. That's the issue 5 cover, or one of the issue 5 covers.
Okay, that makes sense. No, that's very cool.
So yeah, now, that was.
When you were doing this stuff. Oh, sorry. Go ahead. Didn't mean to.
That was my first video game comic book that I worked on.
So I'm going to ask them if this would lead into, was that when you were doing the video game stuff, did that bring in kind of like the digital art that you gotten into?
Oh yeah, totally. Like when I did video games for a bunch of years, that's when I got into everything, computers and Wacom tablets and all that stuff. So I just continued it from there.
What do you think about the Wacom tablets? I've used them and I thought they're pretty cool, but I never really got to talk to anyone about them.
Oh, I love them. Yeah, they were great. Like especially when I was doing 3D and stuff. Well, actually, now when I do anything, they're great. Like I have a Wacom tablet, but I also have a Wacom Cintiq companion, so I could draw right on the screen. And
nice.
So, yeah, they're great. But I was used to both of them because I had used the Wacom tablet for so many years of video games, and I would even use them for doing 3D modeling. And so I wouldn't use the mouse. And only a lot of people use the mouse, but I would use the Wacom tablet and for almost everything. So I did it for 3D modeling, for painting, and doing concept designs. But yeah, they're great. I love Wacom.
So do you do all your own coloring for all the digital stuff?
No, not like for that or maybe comic book. We had another colorist do that. But whenever I'm doing like I guess pinups or print, just individual pinups for myself, I'll color myself.
Oh, okay.
But I'm trying to move away from that because at least for I used to do. There's a couple series, comic book series that I was coloring myself on, which was okay. But I found that I enjoy coloring myself on a pinup, but I don't like doing comic book pages. And so it's just like I don't know. I just mostly just like drawing them because that's a lot of work too.
Yeah. Yeah, it seems tedious. I mean, you don't think about it as a consumer, flipping through and the pictures are really cool and everything, but the amount of work that goes into each publication, it's whew.
Oh yeah, it's a lot. It takes a long time. Then and I'm not that fast of a colorist. Like, I mean, I've improved a little bit, but yeah, it's when you're, doing thumbnails, the layouts, and then the penciling and inking, and then the coloring. It's like you have to be on one page for like a long time. So I'm like, all right, we'll let them do it because they're better and faster. That's cooler.
So I remember you discussing a few years back on some of the video games that you used to work on. You worked on Max Payne.
Yeah, I think Max Payne 3. That was the last
Yeah.
one when I left Rockstar Games, and then I also did Red Dead Redemption, Red Dead Revolver. Like Rockstar had Rockstar had a table tennis game that I worked on. I don't know why they did table tennis, but I worked on table tennis and like their midnight club, their race car series, and then like I was like did like a Star. I was like credited on Star Wars from Sony Online Entertainment, the big Star Wars Galaxy. Yeah, the big online like RPG or multiplayer game. But I started way back in the day with like Anachronauts from I was at a company called Iron Storm. They were in Dallas, Texas, and so started doing that back then. So yeah, a lot of years in the video game.
So
Video game.
yeah, so we know this. Maybe the viewers don't, but we were talking, before we went live about, the different adventures globally that you've been working on. You've been living in different parts of Europe over the past few years, and
they're tracking you down now.
They want to know
and
about adventures too.
That's right.
So what have you been working on? You've been getting commissioned by different organizations and whatnot, living abroad. How has that experience been? And I mean, can you share to any of the projects that you were working on while in Europe?
Oh, that was awesome, man! It was just an awesome experience because I just because thankfully I'm a freelancer, and I was working at home anyway. So I just was thinking before I always thought of like, I can like work like at any cafe that I want to, in San Diego and stuff. Until I finally realized, hey, wait a second, what was it? Any place has Wi-Fi? So any cafe in the world. So yeah, that's kind of what started, and that was an awesome experience. Got rid of everything, mostly everything I owned, and then moved off to Europe, and because I was able to work any place with I had Wi-Fi and I had my stuff.
That's great.
I did that. So yeah, I went over there and went to Germany first, and which was only because I thought I was going to get like a visa to stay there until I realized I don't think I want a visa to stay here. So I mean, nothing wrong with Germany at all, but if I had like stayed there, it was like to travel all around. So then like American citizens can like travel visa free. So as you know, and so then I was able to jump around every 3 months to visit a different country, different cities and stuff. And I just think I work mostly with indie publishers. So that's who my main clients were when I was over there. And so which was really cool because they were really good with scheduling and stuff. They just had hired me to, produce, some of their properties that they had created. And so they were great to work with. I really love working with indie people, and because they're a little more flexible with everything, and I mean, of course, you got to change stuff when you need to change it, but they're just really flexible, really easy to work with in the plants that I had, and it was really helpful to be able to travel. Like I was able to go there in the Czech Republic and Ireland that we were talking about, and France and stuff, and yeah, it was just able to. It was cool to be able to like just be able to work anywhere, like work at the flat I was staying in, Airbnb, or go to a cafe. Because you could just, as long as you have someplace to sit down and work,
That's great.
Work. So a lot of cool adventures. Thanks for asking.
So did you hit a lot of different cons throughout Europe? And kind of a follow up to that is, what are the main differences you've noticed between international cons vice kind of U.S. cons in the culture?
Actually, you'd think I would have hit more cons than I did, but in actuality, I only went to like I think 2 conventions over there, and the main reason for that was because it was very challenging for me to schedule when traveling and being in a country for a convention because because of they have a Schengen area over there. You can only stay in a country. I can only stay in a country for 90 days, and so it was hard to be able to plan, think about what conventions were where, according to what country I was going to be in at what time. And so, like when I was in the UK, there just happened to be a convention in London there when I was there, and so I just got some tickets and then went to that while I was there. And then when I was in, and then I totally feel horrible because I went to a convention. I went to out of Spain. There was a small convention there. I was totally caught off guard. I didn't make it. It was like in the same city I was staying, and I hadn't heard about it before. So I missed that. And then same thing when I was in Italy. I missed a convention there for a similar reason because I didn't know too much about European conventions. But then when I did, when I was staying in Greece, I started looking more for conventions, and I contacted the Athens Con. And then I just wanted to see asking about if they had a table for Artist Alley for the next year. And then he called me right back and said, "Hey, instead of a table, why don't we just bring you in as a guest this year?" And that was like in September or October, and the convention was in December. And I'm like, "Really?" So I said, "Yeah, it was great." And I almost missed that because also the 90-day rule, because I'd already been in Thessaloniki for almost 90 days. But I ended up leaving earlier, so I had a few days to return to Athens and go there. So that was, if you ever get a chance to go to Athens Con, it's awesome. Those guys over there are amazing. They're really professional, and yeah, it was so fun to go. But as far as like the differences, there really isn't much difference. The only differences over there that I found were just the language. Because like comic book fans and stuff are the same to me that I saw everywhere. Like they just came up to the tables, they talked about your artwork, or got commissions from you, or stuff like that. So there wasn't really any difference. Oh, the conventions were smaller than because I'm used to going to San Diego convention. So, but other than that, it was like almost the same. The same. The fans were great. And the same. Cosplayers and just a little bit smaller scale and a different language. Oh, a different money.
Yeah. It's somewhat of a still kind of same geek culture, even with all the
universal
geographic and cultural and language barriers. I mean, you still kind of have the same geek culture, at least from the international cons that I've been to. I went to a couple cons in Latvia, and it was really interesting to see, kind of the differences for me. I mean, Artist Alley they were still trying to, get that and take that off a bit. Actually, our logo, our Watchtower Geeks logo was an artist that I met in Latvia, and I commissioned him to do that, and he was kind of one of the main. They only had a few at the time. And but the cosplay, I mean, there's some professional seamstresses.
Yeah.
And they're sitting there like fixing their cosplay by hand, just sitting there sewing stuff. And I'm like, what in the world is? Yeah, they were. Man, they really loved the cosplay. At least in Latvia, they loved it, man. That was like, I would say 80% of the con was cosplay, and just showing it off on stage, and that was the main focus of the con. But
Yeah, I think everyone loved it. I think you're right about the whole geek, thing, because it's just the same. It was the same in Europe. I haven't been in any Asian cons or any South American cons or anything, but at least the ones in Europe, it's just the same as here. The same fans, the same, they love it the same way, which was really nice because it felt like, even though I was in Europe, it felt like, and then it spoke a different language. It was like, home. Like the familiar, very familiar when they walked in, and they did everything. It was the same enthusiasm and everything. And the more I looked into the rest of the content of the countries, I was looking at it's all the same thing: comic books, the artists, the cosplay. So it just and I think they're really fun to go to. So it was really encouraging to see that.
yeah, I actually went to a con back in December. And I was on a work trip to India. I was in New Delhi, and I remember I went to the first Comic-Con in New Delhi back in 2010, 2009, 2010, somewhere in there. And it's been, increasing every year, and now they have a big outdoor venue, and it was definitely interesting to see. But again, kind of the same geek culture,
Yeah.
I mean, it's the same framework, if you will, I mean, to borrow a term from IT, the same framework to really kind of,
It's the universal language, man.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
I was going to say that. It's like, even though it's different language, different country, that's the same language.
Yeah, walk through any country with a cape on.
Yeah. Like, oh, Captain America, yes, man. This one. And thanks for hooking me up. I didn't get a chance to go, but at least now I have the connection to go to Latvia, to go to conventions up there. So yeah, that's
Sergey's, he's a good dude. Yeah, man. So let's see what else. What's another question?
Had a question. Lyle had
Yeah.
one.
No, I don't know. Once you get going, no one can get in there. You just run your mouth. It just doesn't stop.
No, I'm going on mute.
You're worse.
Okay.
You're worse than my teenage daughters.
Yeah,
truth.
Sorry, Ben.
Except he's more allergic to poison oak.
So I never got to meet you, Ben, but I've heard plenty of stories from Jason and Adam about the trip, because Jason made sure that after he got back from San Diego the next day when he's at work, that he brought a bunch of stuff for me and then rubbed it in as hard as he could that I didn't get to go.
Hey, that's what any good geek is gonna do. You know what I'm saying? Any good
Right, yeah. I was expecting it, so I had
Universal
my Kleenex and everything ready to go when he got there. So.
Oh, you got it.
Yeah, no, wait. Ed, listen, at Lyle, you got me all confused here. I always bring you something back from every trip.
Yes, I gotta say he's been good that way. He's always brought me some awesome stuff back from all the places he's gone. So
True blue comic book fan friend. That's what I'm saying.
that's right.
Yeah. Well, nice to meet you here, Lyle.
Nice to meet you too. So I was wondering, when you were younger, you said you started going to cons when you're like 14, 16, somewhere in that area. When you were getting into art, who was like your the big artist that you were really looking up to and aspiring to, want to be back then?
Oh man, that was just it's hard. I'm not able to just pick one. There was so many. Like a few of them was like George Perez. He was a huge one. Like one of the earliest comic books I would get was Avengers with George Perez drew. And it was like awesome. It was the one with like the Taskmaster, the first appearance of Taskmaster, and like the Wasp. And then the Wasp was on the cover of one of them. Taskmaster was on the cover of the other one, the next one. And so that was really huge for me. And John Byrne, he was a favorite. Michael Golden, he was like another big favorite of mine that I really loved his artwork and just the detail and stuff. Like everyone loves like Doctor Strange #55, and Neil Adams, of course, was another big. John Buscema. Oh man, I could like keep going.
Yeah.
John Buscema. Yeah, and then his brother Sal Buscema. It was like so like one of the earlier issues he was doing like a Marvel premiere. It was doing a story of the Valken and just the way I remember when he the people would get hit like it was awesome, and like the reaction of the punch. It was like you could feel it, reading. And yeah, just back in the day, I loved like Bill Sienkiewicz. He was doing early Moon Knight. Yeah, there was Walt Simonson. Yeah, Walt Simonson on Thor. Oh man,
Wow.
that could go on. I better stop now. But there's so many that influenced me big time. When I was, because I was remember that all in the '80s and stuff. I was collecting all those comic books.
Oh yeah.
John Byrne, Paul Simonson, George Perez.
I like George Perez for sure. I really liked his stuff. He was one of my favorites back then.
And that dude was fast too. But it's funny too, though. And even though I like the artist, wasn't when I was younger. I wasn't a Jack Kirby fan like at all. I used to hate his stuff. But then when I got older, then now I like him. I think he's like amazing, And so it's funny the difference differences in taste.
So, what kind of cartoons did you like as a kid?
Oh man, same thing. Like I remember watching like Tarzan, and then the whole like Tarzan like hour of cartoons. They had Batman.
Oh yeah.
And they had the Herculoids. Love the Herculoids.
Oh yeah, Hanna-Barbera stuff always. Yeah.
Oh, you're speaking Lyle's language now.
Johnny Quest.
Quest. Yeah.
Oh, I remember Hercules when the guy who had the ring and he held it up in the air and had a little one who go Herc and stuff. And then there was this other guy. Oh, and Super Samurai, and then the Super Friends. Then there's one guy, I forget what it is, David and Goliath. He had like this.
David and Goliath, yeah.
Big lion. And
turned into a lion.
Yeah, big lion. But also, I love, and then of course, Battle of the Planets, which was, G-Force.
Oh yeah,
Gotcha Man, Speed Racer. Oh man, had to be there Saturday morning watching all these shows, man.
Bowl of Captain Crunch and ready to go.
Oh yeah, you had that. Oh, Captain Crunch and also Cookie Crunch.
Cookie Crisp, yeah.
Cookie Crunch and Rice. No, not Rice Krispies. The one that was all full, that was different colors.
Fruity Pebbles.
Yeah, Fruity Pebbles.
Yeah. See, now you're making me hungry and want the urge to watch cartoons.
Hey, it's all about being a fan. You got to have your bowl of cereal and.
That's right.
Well, what about you? What were some of yours?
Oh, I'm a huge Hanna-Barbera fan. I still watch Johnny Quest and all those today. I got the subscription to the Cartoon Network, and they don't have as many like Blue Falcon was my favorite when I was a kid.
Oh yeah,
with Dynamite, loved it.
I love that stuff, man.
Yeah.
And didn't he have like
Space Ghost? Space Ghost is my other favorite.
Those are great.
Like Johnny Quest was fun for me, but to me, like that was different than the other cartoons because to me it was cool because it felt like more real. The way they did the shading and stuff, and the intro, and you almost felt like you were coming into a real world.
Yep. What surprises me is that I was watching Johnny Quest now because they have it on the Cartoon Network thing, and they actually have people die on this cartoon.
Really?
I mean, they don't show it, but I mean that's pretty well hinted at. Like you watch G.I. Joe, a Real American Hero from the '80s, and you can see the laser bolts going completely away from everybody, so no one, a plane blows up and they still parachute out of it. But back in Johnny Quest,
you're dead.
Fell in on you, man. You're done.
That was such a cool show, man. It was just Race and Haji and Johnny and his dad. It was
and Bandit.
Yeah, Bandit.
Yeah, I love Bandit.
Sim solid bin.
Right. All right, so I got to piggyback on Lyle's question about your favorite artist or inspiring artist. But let's switch it. If you were hanging art on your wall, not who was doing it, but what would you put up if you had to pick from the geekdom universe? Would you be putting up a picture of Thor? Would you be putting up a picture of the Justice League's tower? I mean, what would be something you'd want hanging on your wall?
As far as like characters or artists?
It doesn't matter who the artist is that does it, but what the character would be. What the content of the art is.
It would be like definitely Captain America. He's my favorite. Comic character. And then I love the Avengers. It would be like the X-Men from the like 80s and 90s. Because I love the 80s and stuff. Like I was, wasn't there when John Byrne. I had to do back issues of that, but I was there when Paul Smith was doing the X-Men. And you had Wolverine and Nightcrawler and Colossus, then Storm. I need the old school X-Men or Avengers. The Teen Titans when George Perez was doing it. I loved all those characters and the way he designed all the costumes and the villains and stuff. Who else would it be? And I love, yeah, just all the Avengers because I'm a big Hawkeye fan, and it's surprisingly enough there wouldn't be any Superman or Batman on there because I'm not a big Superman or Batman fan. And but like I do like Nightwing. He would be cool. I love him a lot. Oh, and Daredevil because he's like Nightwing. Daredevil, I love Daredevil. Would be up there, and gosh, yeah, and the Huntress. She's really cool. I think she's really cool.
Oh yeah.
And then I like Legion of Superheroes a lot, and anything having to do with them. Oh, and the New Gods from Jack Kirby, they'd be great. And then I also like to have like the Imperial Guard because the Imperial Guard in Marvel was basically the Legion of Superheroes in DC.
That's
And
true.
so I would love to have them up there, or the Inhumans, the Eternals, all the Jack Kirby stuff. I didn't like the stuff when I was younger, but now, man, most of Jack Kirby stuff that he did, Black Panther, I'd love to have up on the walls.
Cool. That's very cool.
As you can tell, I'm a hardcore superhero fan. I'd love to do that.
I'm glad.
Did you ever meet Jack Kirby?
No, I didn't. I didn't meet like most of the fans. Like I didn't meet like Jack Kirby or John Byrne yet. Gosh, yeah, those are the ones I really want. And Walt Simonson, I haven't met him yet. I'd love to meet him. I did meet Neil Adams and Jim Lee and Chris Sprouse. Who else? Big ones. Mark Silvestri.
Yeah.
So some of those I met. Yeah. And man, I met. Do you guys know who David Mazzucchelli is?
Heard the name.
He's the one. He did Daredevil for a while. He did Daredevil Redemption, and then he did with Frank Miller, and then or is it Redemption or is it Born Again? Born Again. Yeah, Born Again. And then he also did the Batman Year One with Frank Miller.
Oh.
And so, anyways, he was like one of my favorite artists. He still is actually for those ones. And I hadn't met him, but after I became professional. I'd be at San Con all the time every year, and I'd walk around the convention a lot. And then all of a sudden, I don't know how I did this, but I was walking through the aisle inside the con, and I saw this dude's badge, and it said David Mazzucchelli on it. And I had never met him before. I didn't know what he looked like, but I saw the badge, and then I stopped the dude. I'm like, "Hey, are you David Mazzucchelli?" And he's like, "Yeah." And I'm like, "Dude, stuff is so awesome. I love this. I love that." I was just totally geeking out, man. And he was like really happy and stuff. Look on his face, it was like, "Wow, this guy's a fan." And he was really flattered, very flattered, until he looked down to my badge and saw that I was a professional. And then he looked at me like, "Dude, you're a professional. Why are you geeking out?" That's the look on his face. I'm like, at that point, I'm like, "I don't care, man. You're awesome." And then I walked.
Cool.
I don't know if anybody else did that, but I was like, yeah, I didn't care if you're pro or not pro. I thought you were like really cool. I'd geek out. Yeah. So yeah,
That's cool.
another favorite artist.
I have another question I've been wanting to ask for a while, and a different artist. I just kind of wanted to get your perspective. When you're approached with a project, do you kind of sit down with the writers and kind of storyboard it, like just kind of get their perspective as to how to draw it out and how the story is going to go? Or do you draw and then they write the story afterwards?
No, usually with the writers, like back in the day, which was my favorite way of doing things, like the Marvel method, would they just give me a rough plot, and then they'd separate it by pages or sometimes by sections, or scenes, and they just give me like a brief description of each page or each like set of pages, and then I would just go from there, and I'd create the thumbnails and then draw the comic book, and then they would go back and then do the scripting and the lettering after they see the pages, but it came from their plot, and that gives the artist like a lot more freedom, and I still love that, and I could do pages faster that way than having to do like a full script where they describe everything in the script. Panel 1, this is all, night, New York, just at night, in an alleyway, they'll do that, and they'll set the scene, upshot, looking down, but in the plots they just give a very minimal description. But that's how they generally do it. I'll draw it out and then send it to them, and they'll script it after they see the pages. But recently, a lot of the artists, they don't like doing it that way, or they don't have much experience or whatever. So they'll write a full script, no, give me the full script, and I'll do 5 pages of thumbnails, which is just small rough drafts, and then I'll send it to them, and then they'll check out the rough drafts, and then if there's any corrections in those, then they'll let me know, and I'll make the changes or whatever, and then from there I'll just jump right to the pages, and then I'll do the pages, give it to them, and then they'll have it lettered after that, or I'll have it lettered, depending if I'm also doing like the coloring, the lettering, handling all that stuff. So, but then the full script is quickest for a whole team, because with a full script I can give it to the letterer right away, and then I don't have to give them anything else. They already have the dialogue, and so I just finish the pages, and then they're approved, and then send them right to the letterist or the colorist and letterist, and then the letterist can just start lettering away. So yeah, there's a little bit of back and forth, but not too much. Once, for the most part, they use all my thumbnails. Sometimes there'll just be small changes here or there.
What's the average turnaround time from, I guess, from the idea to print?
I don't know. Per issue, it's supposed to be done in I don't know, 5 to 6 weeks. But that's what I shoot for. So to have like a full issue, like a 24-page issue, plus the cover, and done in about like 5 or 6 weeks. Like 5 is kind of fast, because that's like 5 pages a week, and then you do the cover, but sometimes it goes over, because it takes usually about, depending on the complexity of the page, like could be anywhere between 4 hours and 12 hours, 15 hours to finish a page. So sometimes I'll be done with a page like in 5-6 hours. The other time I'm like, man, it's 2 days, I'm still working on this page. So yeah, it just depends. But like if you work for Marvel and DC, you got to have it like out on time. So it's usually within they give you 5 weeks to finish a book.
Wow.
Yeah, that's
it's interesting. I just I never understood the process, and I mean, you go to the store or whatever, and you buy the comic, and it's you don't really think about the all the legwork and all the different processes that go into place for that. And I just find it interesting, as all.
Yeah, and also actually the 5 weeks is just for the penciler. Like when I was working at Marvel and stuff, it would be 5 weeks for my artwork, and then the inker will be like a week behind me, because I'll finish 5 pages, send it off the inker, and then while I'm penciling the next 5 pages, he's inking the first 5. And then when the inker's done, he'll send his 5 pages off to the colorist, and so it'll be like 2-week lag. So by the time everybody's finished, it could be like, I don't know, 7 or 8 weeks per issue. So that's why they try to get 3 issues completed ahead of time, so you won't worry about getting late. So you have 3 issues are done before the first issue comes out in the stands.
Is it fast? Is it a faster process doing it digitally than drawing it by hand?
It really, for me anyway, it depends what's on it. Initially when I first got on, it was a little bit faster, but then the more I've grown, yeah, I now mostly I do on paper. I'll draw it on paper, and that's faster for me because I have more control over inking and penciling. The way I ink. And there's no undo, so that's the only kind of the problem that I find. But I'll pencil and ink a page, and then I just have way more control. Sometimes I'll finish it faster, just on paper, and then I'll scan it in, and then fill in the blacks and do any corrections digitally. And so that's kind of my process right now. And that, to me, that's been faster than actually drawing digitally, because for some reason I don't have as much control over inking, and when I do it digitally than if I did it just on paper. So yeah, I don't know why it's like that. Some people they can do digital faster, but also it's different. If I'm doing certain special effects, I can do those faster in digital, but I'll just do that after I scan the pages and stuff. And then also it depends who my client is, because when I had a client, I did this book called Sophia Saturn, a miniseries, and I started that doing digital, and then the client got used to that, and he could tell if I would have switched over to analog and scanned it in. So because he wanted everything to look exactly the same, I just ended up completing that whole miniseries digitally. So I'll do it that. So it just depends. And also digital, I don't have any originals to sell, so that's another reason why I do analog. And then it's more fun. I just actually have more fun drawing on paper.
Yeah,
makes you feel like I'm a little kid again, little kid drawing around comic books at home.
I had that as a question to ask you was, what's your favorite to draw, digital or actually with pen and pencil?
Yeah, now it's pencil and paper and marker. I found it a lot more fun for me. And then I feel even more like a professional when after I scan it in, and I'm like, ooh, now I'm doing it digitally, so I'm all legit now. And then, but if I do like concept design, or if I do painting and digital coloring, it's all digital and stuff. So like if I would do a concept design, I won't do it on paper. I'll just because I have to when concept designs you have to change too many things sometimes, and it's just way faster to do it digitally.
Gotcha.
And then throwing in the color and everything. So comic books, pencil and paper, concept design, and painting digital.
Cool.
So do you have a favorite character that you like to draw that you haven't done professionally yet?
Well, I think, yeah, Captain America. Like I haven't done him actually. Like I've done, like Spider-Man and X-Men and Fantastic Four professionally, but I haven't ever done Captain America and Thor. Captain America, Thor, all the Avengers. I haven't done any of those like professionally yet. So I would love to do that. The Inhumans, the Legion of Superheroes. Yeah, those are some of the ones I'd love to do professionally.
So what draws you to Captain America other than the obvious that he's the American hero?
I love Captain America because he's like, to me, he's a true hero. He's not an anti-hero or anything. He just straight up, he does his best to like help people, and he's courageous, and he's yeah, his whole attitude is he's got character. He's got integrity. He doesn't back down from a fight. He stands up for what's right, and he admits when he's wrong. That kind of stuff. And then, yeah, of course, he's an American symbol, and also I kind of like those kind of characters too, where he just has like some improved strength and agility and stuff. So I kind of like those a little bit more than like somebody with like can fly and stuff and can like knock down a building. So he's just always like the moral compass for like all of the other heroes and stuff. I think what showed it for me was in the Captain America movie. There was a scene when Steve Rogers was training in the army when they were trying to select who was going to get the serum, and then this Tommy Lee Jones character came up and like didn't like him. Like, what are you wasting my time for? When are you going to kick Rogers out? He's a weakling. He's not going to make it. And then the scientist said, no, we need something more than just physical strength. And then he said, no, he's not good for nothing. And then to prove it to you, I'm going to show you how he actually took a grenade and throw it out there. And then like everyone scatters and Steve jumps on it.
Yeah.
That's awesome. That's Captain America.
Yeah, that's true.
And then he did that scene where they said first guy that gets a flag off the top of this pole gets a ride home, and he takes the bolts out the pole and drops the pole, and then takes the flag and hops on the back of the Jeep. That was a great scene.
Yeah, thinks outside the box.
He's got a muscle-bound idiot. Of course, then he wasn't, but he could think too. So yeah, that was a great scene.
I'd like to think that they at least in the first one they held really true to the core of Jack Kirby's perception of Steve Rogers. I thought that was I thought it was really adapted well to the screen. And
they actually used his old costume, which was an homage to the character.
Yeah.
The only thing that I didn't like I loved the whole movie except one thing I felt they had a big mistake on, because when after Erskine was killed, the scientists, they couldn't make any more super soldiers. Like they didn't care about Rogers after that. I'm thinking like, here they are, they have a super soldier, they could do stuff with it, and then they didn't want to do anything. They treated him like a failure, and he was just performing. And then all of a sudden he finds out his friend is in trouble, so he goes to the army and says, I'm going to go save him. But it's like, where did he get any training from? And he just automatically could do it. Just because he's stronger, he could do it. But I was a fan, like John Byrne did a run on Captain America, and in that his last issue of Captain America, he did his origin story. And so in there, after he became the super soldier, they took him away in secret and they trained him. They taught him how to fight, strategic stuff, how to be in a war and stuff like that. And they just gave him training. So then when he was done, he was able to utilize his abilities with that training, you know. And so that gave a reason. But in the movie, they just said, "Oh, you're strong, so now you can do all this stuff." And that's the only thing that I was like, "Oh, come on, man! Talk to John Byrne, man. Talk to them. Talk to Jack Kirby."
Yeah, we actually asked Alan Bellman about that, what he thought, because he went to the premiere and working with Stan Lee and everything in the beginning. With that, I asked him, what'd you think of how they held true to the hero and to Steve, and he pretty much said almost exactly the same way you did.
Oh yeah, it's because to me that would have made it a little bit more real. Because to me it made it kind of bubblegummy. You know, all of a sudden he's got the serum, and then he could do everything. Like, you know, and he grew up in Brooklyn. I mean, he wasn't stupid, but he didn't know how to, you know, about military strategy or, you know, being a secret agent or, you know, anything, you know. But other than that, I mean, I had to give it a pass because Captain America is just my favorite character. So whatever.
Well, you know, he did go from being a singing, commercial to fighting World War II and beating the Nazis, and didn't have to get any training.
That was like a lot, man. Singing in the commercials and beating the Nazis, man, and also killing. Like, he did a lot of killing, and this like kid from Brooklyn, all of a sudden he's now killing Nazis, you know, and like he didn't have any training, you know, because yeah, that was a bit much, but they brought it together, you know, like with the whole thing when he says, you know, "Oh, I got all day, I could do this all day." I mean, that kind of stuff.
We did have someone ask a question. They wanted to know, do you ever have pieces turned down by comics, like a comic book company or an indie company, something like that? Or are like you competing with other artists for something, or is it usually something you're hired to come in and do?
Yeah, generally, you're hired to do it. So that's why they don't really turn anything down. They'll make changes to stuff, but they won't turn it down. Like if you're hired for the book, for the issue or whatever, then you're going to do it, you know. And you know, then so it's kind of that way. The turning down part comes when they're searching for artists, and then you might have to like test for a project or something. So they're comparing you to other artists, you know, seeing who they want to hire. But then once they hire you, then you're in, and it's fine.
Gotcha.
Unless like, you know, they decide not to produce it anymore or something. You know,
okay. Cool.
Or you want to get off the book. Get you, man. I want to draw Captain America.
So, this brings us to our last question. What are you working on now? What do you got coming up, or what are you doing now?
Right now, I'm still working with like some other like artists on another video game company, another video game comic book. I can't say what it is, but for the same company that put out Obey Me. So helping with that, and then just finished up. All these are like indie stuff, like hush hush things, so I can't say too much. But it was basically about these indie company hired me to do like a comic book that's kind of like a superhero comedy, you know. And so I just finished the first issue to a 3-issue miniseries to that, and so that's just by independent people. I think the guys that did it, like they write for TV and movies, and so they wanted to create their own comic book. So they had me doing that, and then I'm just about to get back on. And then I have some small, like, work illustration jobs and commissions that I'm doing, and then I might be finishing up a miniseries that I started when I was I think right before I went to Europe. Yeah, so that was one of my clients when I was in Europe, and so he had stopped it for a while, but now he wants to return to finish the miniseries. It's kind of like it's about a girl character. She's like an Electra, like kind of set in San Francisco, and so she's you know, fighting for the downtrodden up there in the city. So martial arts and all that kind of stuff.
Cool.
So yeah, I love that kind of stuff, like chick fighters. Yeah. And throwing super strength. Yeah. Then you got Wonder Woman, Titania. All those strong chicks.
So Ben, if people wanted to get in touch with you or look up your art or just kind of see what you're working on, your different projects, where can they find you?
I'm generally like on Facebook. I have my Facebook page. If you just do a search for Ben Herrera, you can my Facebook portfolio will come up. Or my they can also friend me on Facebook. if you search for me on there. And I'm also on ArtStation, so you can find me on ArtStation. But yeah, those are the two best places. I got to redo my website. Something like messed up on it, so I took it down. But yeah, the best place to find me is on Facebook.
I put a link up in the comments to your Facebook page, and that way people can find it. It's also in the description of the video, so if they have any issues, they should be able to load it up there.
Yeah,
And-
website's getting messed up. Yeah, we don't know anything about that.
Yeah.
Many thanks, sir. That's awesome.
What?
If you guys like Captain America, any Captain America fans, any superhero is fine, but especially Captain America.
Oh, we love Captain America. That's actually my Batman and Captain America are my son Finnegan's absolute favorites.
Yeah.
Absolutely loves them.
Great choices. I always thought like I don't know if George Perez did this, but like who would win, Captain America or Batman? You know, because they're two like
that'd be a fight.
Yeah, and stuff. So it's those are great choices.
That'd be fun to watch.
Captain Marvel. I love Captain Marvel both in DC and in Marvel. Although now he's called Shazam in DC, but yeah, both
I know.
Really cool.
What'd you think of the Shazam movie?
I thought actually it was kind of fun. I thought it was a little bit hokey, but it was fun. It was workable. You know, I had a good time watching it. I just am not used to the new, like how everybody became a hero. You know, like that was, to me that was kind of hokey. It would have been nice. I was just excited to see like, oh, Captain Marvel Jr. because you know Freddy's there. You know, but then when everybody came, I wasn't familiar with the new mythos. So when everybody, that's the only problem. Like, man, everybody think, you know, Shazam's not special.
That's true. That's true. Although I couldn't tell at the end of that if his compatriots there actually had all of the powers he did, or if they each had one. So like the one guy I think was strong, the other one was fast, the other one could fly, the other I couldn't tell if they all had. I just watched it for like a third time the other day, and I'm like, you know what? I don't think all of his friends had all of his powers. I think they each had one.
Yeah, you know what? I'm not sure either. I know it showcased just that one power, but then in the back of my head, I'm like, man, they probably have all of his powers. They're just using one, but I don't know. Maybe it looked like they just all had only one power. And
either way,
which is funny too, because I mean, maybe this harkens back to when he was originally created. When he was originally created, he was more like campy, you know, like kids and stuff. Yeah. And you know, but to have a heroine that's actually like a 6-year-old girl, that doesn't make sense. You know, it's like she could do all this stuff, and how are you gonna like a 6-year-old girl can like have the the ability to be able to think through things, you know, and stuff, and you like
have fun with that.
So I was like, oh man, you know, and then so yeah, that was, but it was still fun. Overall, I liked it. I thought it was a cool movie.
So the question that really matters is, you know, when are we all going to get together again?
Oh yeah, tell me about it. See, I need definitely happy you asked that question. We got to do it. We got to come to California. We got to go to Europe. Got to meet up with Adam in Europe.
I'm down with both of those suggestions.
Eastern Europe, you know, you guys got to have some, you know, baked ribs that just melt in your mouth, or shapka, or moussaka, which is actually, you know, like also Greek. It's just like mincemeat with potatoes baked. It's, oh man, yeah,
that sounds amazing.
That sounds awesome.
Oh, and when they serve you, they give you their appetizer, which is called meze, and they had a big table, one whole table, all it is appetizers with salads and stuff, and then so you got to make sure you pace yourself, because I didn't pace myself, and so because that was just the one course, you know, and then you have to have with the 3 different kinds of salads and the other, you know, meze and ivar, the thing called ivar that's over there, and with all that you have to have a shot of what they call rakia, which is their version of brandy, and so you have a shot of that, and then you eat all that food and try to serve yourself, and then comes the second course, and they fill the whole table again with a big old huge plate of potatoes, a big old, oh man, crazy plate of ribs. Oh man, yeah, having good memories.
So good. Yeah.
We got to meet in Europe.
Yeah, we do. So I'm trying to turn my mic on here so that my son can hear this. But so this is my son Finnegan. I brought him in here real quick. See if I can turn my mic on so he can actually hear you. Let's see if this will work. There we go. I think that's working now.
Hello, hey Finnegan.
You can say hi.
Nice to meet you. I was saying you have a very cool name. That is an awesome name.
This is he's the one that has the Batman you drew for him that I brought back from San Diego. So I had him come in real quick so he could actually see you and know who actually drew it. So, anyways, okay, you can go now. But yeah, we definitely have to get together and have to do food because all of that sounds absolutely amazing.
Food and a lot of
I've been having a hankering for a good Islands burger as well.
Oh yeah. Yeah, when I came back here, Islands was one of the first places I wanted to go. Went there to have some American food again, and also of all the Mexican places, the taco shops out here. Had to have my bean burrito with 3-roll tacos and guacamole and cheese.
County One Stuff Watchtower fans can come meet up too.
Yeah, they don't have that stuff in Europe, man.
Yes, anyone that wants to go meet up in Europe is fine.
Come on over. We'll grab some stuff. Or yeah, we'll just grab a lot of stuff together.
That's right. Cool. Well, I know that I have a trip that's supposed to be coming up. Well, it's supposed to be this month to San Diego, but possibly as soon as the travel restrictions are lifted, be going back out to El Cajon and to Valencia and to LA. It's all three. So if you are still around, and I'll definitely have to hook up and hope somehow get Adam to go too.
Oh, that'd be awesome. Yeah, just if you're here, probably be here for a few more months. So if you're gonna come out, and then we can hook up with Oli. Did you meet Oli?
No.
He's another friend. That he lives. He's a big, huge comic book fan. He goes to the conventions every year. He lives in El Cajon, so he probably would love to meet you. Yeah.
Oh yeah, that'd be great.
Great guy, comic book fan. He actually go to all the conventions. You know, sells prints and stuff. So
cool.
yeah, El Cajon would be great. Although if you come in a month or so, it's gonna be freaking hot over there. But it could be another reason to grab like a big, cold milkshake or something.
Yeah, something cold and go to the beach when it's nice and breezy.
Yeah. And can't forget Mexican food.
Oh yeah. Okay, in El Cajon, every time I go out there, there's a Mexican place I hit up, which is absolutely fantastic, and then there's a Mediterranean restaurant called Alibaba, which is about, I don't know, a tenth of a mile from the hotel I stay at, and they bring out the entire table is just full of food, like stacked like a foot high, and we'll spend $40 and 5 of us can't even finish everything. And it is fantastic. I love it.
See, that's what you do. That's how you do American, man. American is all like tons of big portions, big old portions. That's how you get your money's worth, man. It's like, it's similar to Balkans, big, humongous portions.
Well, Jason, you're going to have to figure out an excuse for me to go out there with you with work.
I need to find out a reason. That way,
I think we could sell it.
People know Lyle. He works for one of the subsidiaries, the same company that I do. So, yeah, I can try to find out a justifiable reason to have that company pay for his flight, and then we're good.
Right there's enough for me, man. The fact that you get scared on the flight, you need someone to hand the hold. So
right,
because for the same company,
you can be
he can
emotional support.
Yeah, emotional support friend.
Yes.
My sister's a psychiatrist. I'll get the certification for her that I can be your support animal, Jason.
I love that. I mean, I didn't want to call you my animal, but if you really want to go there, I'll do it. Yeah. It's fine.
You called me worse.
You get lonely, so you need someone to accompany you to Alibaba's and the Mexican restaurant.
There you go, Lyle. Connie has the reason.
He's much needed, and plus you got to talk, awesome, 70s and 80s Saturday morning cartoons.
Oh yeah. See, we can make this work. You got a sales rep out there, Lyle. See, you have a sales rep.
That's right. Yeah. I could do that.
Deb, talk to me. I could talk about how necessary you are in Jason's travel life.
Perfect.
We'll have you write up an official document that says that for us.
Exactly. You got to hand him his towel when he gets out of the shower. You got all that stuff. It's gonna blow him away, man.
We weren't gonna talk about our Friday nights on here.
No. Hey, it's Friday night. What else are you gonna do?
I know. Have Ed stand and hand me my towel. All right. Well, we are up on the hour mark here, so I will let Ben get back to doing whatever Ben is going to do during this quarantine. But what is it? You're 3 hours behind there, right?
Yep,
7 o'clock?
7 o'clock over here.
Okay.
So, what about you, Adam? What time is it where you're at?
It is noon on Saturday here in Guam.
Ahead.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I'm gonna get back to work, do some more comic book stuff tonight. So.
I'm going to get out
Yo.
and play Age of Empires with Adam.
Oh no, that's a good idea.
Do you play?
No, I actually worked like in the video game industry for like 13 years, and I don't play video games.
I play with Mike every now and then. It's been a lot of fun. Man,
Yeah, Mike
his boys destroy me. I just try to hide like off in a corner as long as I can, but man, they find a way through the forest or whatever, and they just.
Mike loves the games. His kids love the games. They love making games, everything and stuff. I used to play. Excuse me, like how is it? Action games like God of War and stuff. Like those. Yeah. I just don't have a PlayStation or whatever. And but yeah, those kind of games a lot. But I was mostly in it like for the artwork and stuff. Doing the artwork for games is pretty cool.
It is.
Do you remember those, like in the late 80s, early 90s, those little Tiger games, the handheld ones? And it was like,
got them.
Oh man, it was like Batman, and you're playing, and it's like, this game sucks. But it's like you can move up, down, forward. It's like,
oh man, I used to have one. I don't know what it was called. It was some kind of space game. It was like I don't know, that big, and it was just one game, and it was dark with like red lights,
Oh yeah.
When I was younger, I loved games. I'd play that all the time, and I'd just be for hours just playing my little, red and black video game. And then when I got, and then I go to arcades all the time. So go to arcades for hours.
I still love arcades.
Yeah, me too. I'll play games in arcades.
Yes.
Like my favorite game was two favorite games were Galaga and Harrier.
Oh yeah.
Do you guys know who Billy Mitchell is?
No.
Oh.
No.
The King of Kong? No.
Oh no.
Oh, there's a documentary on him. Oh man, he's
You're such a nerd, Adam.
He's such an awesome villain. Yeah, he's like a real world he's awesome. Anyway, yeah. I digress.
Adam likes the villains.
And then of course in the arcade without Pac-Man, I miss Pac-Man.
Yeah. Pac-Man frustrates me. I don't know why. I like it, but it frustrates me and I quit very easily.
Yeah, it is frustrating. I could do better for some reason in Miss Pac-Man than I can Pac-Man. I don't know why I could do it. And then Phoenix. I remember that one. Oh, and Centipede.
Oh yeah, I like Centipede.
Oh yeah, man, we're really like what do you call it? Dating ourselves here.
Old.
Yeah. I'm only 21, so what am I doing?
I know. I'm still mentally 17 though, so I haven't gotten past that age in my head.
Yeah,
true. That's true.
For living, all the stuff. So you got to stay young.
Yep. All right. Well, if there's nothing else, I'll let you get going, and we'll stop the broadcast here. Thank you very, very much for hopping on with us. This has been fun, and we will definitely.
Thanks, Ben. It's good to meet you.
As we get together.
Anytime, guys. Thank you for having me. This was so fun, and great to meet you, Lyle, and great to meet you too. You two, Jason and Adam again. So this is like old memories. We gotta make new memories. So
I'm there with you.
We're meeting up, having a good time.
That's right. All right. Thanks, Ben.
All right. Thank you. Have a great night, guys.
You too.
You too.